Welcome to The 11 with your hosts, JJ Pavlik of Bad Dog Sports and Anthony Merced of AJM Sports.
Welcome to The 11. This is JJ Pavlik with Bad Dog Sports. We're here at Subaru Park to cover the Philadelphia Union versus Minnesota United. Both teams come in having not been defeated, with Minnesota having 3 wins and 1 draw, while the Union come in with 1 win and 3 draws. Both teams will be without 3 of their players. This afternoon's game should be a good matchup between the two. Both midfields are dominant. Looking for this one to be a tight 1-goal game. Pretty much have Minnesota coming out 1-0. Now we'll go on to New York City FC, who plays later tonight against Inter Miami. Preview for New York City FC versus Inter Miami. That matchup is going to be a crucial one for New York City FC. The fans are demanding Nick Cushing to be replaced. Word is Man City may be giving them their wish if Nick does not pick up the win today in Miami. Other news is that Luis Suarez will be in the lineup for Inter Miami despite throwing punches in the tunnel at Red Bull Arena. Why he has not been suspended, we do not know. We have reached out to MLS for confirmation as to why they did not suspend Luis Suarez for this match. We shall see what happens. Right now, NYCFC will have to deal with Suarez. I think even with Suarez in the lineup, New York City FC should be able to win this game, given their previous performance against FC Cincinnati, who is in first. They can come out with that same defensive performance. Sorry, it's live here and we got some people walking through. But no, if they hold on with that defensive performance again here against Miami, I think that will be enough frustration for Luis Suarez that he will not be a factor. I look for New York City FC to win the game 2-1 down in Miami. Nick Cushing's will be around for another week. Right now, we're going to throw it back to Anthony up in New Jersey to cover the New York Red Bull for their match against Orlando tonight.
And JJ for breaking down the NYCFC Inter Miami game. I am here from beautiful New Jersey, where it is a little bit cold, but at least the sun is shining. Hopefully the sun will be shining as well for the New York Red Bulls as they travel to Orlando to play Orlando City SC. This is a really, really big game for New York. They win this game, you can honestly say that it hasn't just been a fluke. They are the real deal at this point. Lots of returning names for this game. Emil Forsberg back from international duty. Carlos Coronel back from international duty. John Tolkien. Pretty much a full lineup except for Daniel Edelman, who will be serving his suspension for his red card in the Columbus game. So we won't see him on the field. Expect to see some kind of mix in that midfield of Frankie Amaya and Peter Stroud in there combining together. Then you've got the real big news, right? You've got the guys who know how to make it happen. You've got Lewis Morgan and Dante Van Zier up top. Those guys connecting in the last game, 3 goals. 4 assists for Dante Van Zier, an absolutely amazing performance. They couldn't be hotter right now. So how do they respond to that? We'll see tonight on the road. Thus far this season, they are 1-1-1 on the road, a draw against Nashville SC to open up the season, a win on the road against Houston, a very tough win that they had to do, and then of course that 3-0 loss, their learning experience moment against the Columbus Crew, the reigning MLS Cup champions. Orlando is a team that at this point in time, going to be very honest, they're not looking good. They were supposed to be good, right? Going into the season, a lot of talks about the big signings, lots of talks about how they were really coming into their own. It's not working yet. It's not happening for them just yet. Could that change? Yeah, it could totally change. This could be the game that is their jumping off point. But to be honest, with the way Red Bull's playing and the momentum that they have, it's hard to say anything other than a Red Bull win for this one. Again, anything is possible. This is the New York Red Bulls, so keep it tight-lipped until you see what the result is. My prediction for this one is going to be a 2-0 win for the New York Red Bulls, which may be different from the podcast that was recorded last night. Don't remember what my prediction was there. predicting right now, feeling good about the availability report and everything, 2-0, thinking this is going to be how it goes down. Stay tuned. We will be right back.
Thank you, Anthony, for that preview on the New York Red Bulls match tonight against Orlando. We are now going to dive into the matchup between Gotham and North Carolina Courage. That match should be an interesting one, especially for Gotham, as they are now going to be without Midge Purse, who is also down to injury. We all know Juan's feelings on the injuries that have been racking up right after CONCACAF Gold Cup. But let's dive into this game. It's going to be a tight one. Both teams are highly competitive. Both have very skilled rosters. I see Gotham possibly sneaking one out in North Carolina again for the second time. I say Gotham 2, North Carolina 1, but it will be a tough matchup for both. Now let's go on to tomorrow's match between the Washington Spirit and the Utah Royals. Both teams are having a pretty okay season to start. They both got off to rocky starts, but have been picking it up as of late. Washington has that dynamic center core group of rookies that they had drafted in this last draft with Ashley Hatch and Trinity Rodman up top. It's going to be a tight one again there, as well as both teams are looking to continue winning and obviously trying to keep up with Gotham and San Diego. I see this one going possibly Washington 3, Utah 2, with the game-winning goal coming late in the second half. I think both teams are just way too competitive for this to be a blowout either way, but I still see the Spirit coming away with the victory.
Welcome back, and we are here with Sean Nealis, the Red Bull Defender vice captain. Is that the proper term that we're using this season for everybody?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
We're looking to keep everything really loose with some of these interviews, learn a little bit about you guys. So, growing up, tell us a little bit about your interest in soccer. Where did it come from? How did it all come together? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, well, JJ had a pretty good story online about that, but I guess I'll delve back into that. I'm from Massapequa, Long Island. My brother is too, obviously, and we grew up there. There's four of us, four boys in total. Very competitive, sports-oriented family, and it was a great experience. Very, like I said, very competitive growing up, and I ended up going to Hofstra to play soccer, a small school again on Long Island, and then got drafted here in 2019, and have been grateful to be at this club ever since.
Were you an MLS watcher before that, or were you more European?
Yeah, so back when the change to Apple TV is relatively new, I always watched the Red Bulls on MSG or MSG Plus, whatever they were on back then. Back when Henri was on the team, BWP first came over, and I think Angel
Juan Pablo Angel.
Juan Pablo Angel, yeah, back some of the older guys. So I've always watched the Red Bulls, and it's kind of just a dream to kind of be playing here now, and a club that I've always looked up to, looked at as a high standard, and we continue to have a high standard to this day.
Sean, hockey's been brought to the forefront with Emil and everything. We've noticed you've liked a couple of videos out there on hockey. Who's your favorite team and player in the NHL?
Yeah, I like the Islanders, so they're not doing too hot right now, but I hope they could kind of keep a hot streak going towards the end of the year and then make a push for the playoffs. And, I'd say my favorite player right now in the Islanders is probably Matt Martin. He's kind of a bruiser out there, but I think he could kind of help push those guys maybe to that last playoff spot.
Who do you think would win in a fight, Martin or Rempe? Because I saw you liked his post on a couple of his fights as well.
Yeah, I think if Matt Martin gets another chance, he won't take it for granted, and I think he'll have a good swing at things. But I mean, Rempe, it's cool. It's a cool story, cool local guy to kind of reinvigorate the sport in a physical manner. So I applaud him for doing that as well.
Yeah, some of the things that I think some fans who watch a European game don't realize is you guys travel a lot further than some of the other teams around the world. Can you tell me some of the spots in some of the cities? Like, for instance, Orlando. Is there a spot that you like to go to eat? Something that you like to frequent in some of these areas?
Just in the morning, we usually find a local coffee spot and see and just kind of relax and check out the city a little bit if it's close. I'll walk by. Orlando's got a pretty nice coffee spot around the block from the hotel. But yeah, I think in a lot of these cities, it would be cool to stay the night, but we charter flights now, which is an awesome experience in its own right. And we don't really get to stay the night and see the scene, but it would be cool to kind of do that in some of these cities.
Yeah. So you said the morning stuff. So bagels, right? Anywhere other than New York, New Jersey that has bagels even worth mentioning?
I don't think I've ever tried bagels in any other state. I'd say my favorite would probably be like maybe tomato basil or an everything, you know. But like you said, New York or New Jersey, there's no other place I could compare for like bagels, pizza.
Yeah.
Sean, what's your go-to pregame meal? Nick Cushing said it was a double espresso. He won't touch food. You as a player, what would it be for you?
Just relatively boring, simple. Just some pasta with grilled chicken or something in that regard. Maybe a yogurt and fruit. Something simple, but nothing too crazy. And probably like 2-3 hours before kickoff, I like to eat.
Do you first off, do you play EAFC? And if you do you look at your ratings and do you like it?
I don't really play any video games, so I couldn't tell you what my rating is or what anybody's rating is. So yeah, sorry to say that.
I think we asked your brother, and I think he said he was not very happy with his rating. So if he saw yours, what would he? Do you think he would? Do you think he would be above or below?
I would like it. Maybe if I didn't like it, I would like that it would motivate me. So I think either way, I would like the rating. At the end of the day, it's a video game, and I kind of stay off of that.
Sean, out of your brothers, who wins one-on-one?
In what sport or
Soccer.
Soccer? Maybe the oldest, Jimmy, or Dylan. I would say the oldest, Jimmy. Yeah, yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah, you've been here now for quite a while, becoming one of the more veteran players on this side. Is there something that you can tell the fans about this team that maybe they don't know about about the camaraderie at all? Any fun little stories that you've come across over the years?
No, I think it's just high energy group, and like you said, there's a lot of camaraderie here, a lot of inner competitiveness within the group, no matter what we're doing or what we're playing. But it's good, and I think we see that with the first few games of the year with us winning and playing well. Obviously, the one Columbus loss hurt, but I think you kind of need that early on in the season to kind of reinvigorate, remotivate you, and hopefully we could get another win going into Orlando.
Lastly, from my side anyway, if you're not a soccer player, you play any other sport in the world, what are you playing?
When I was younger, I would say my favorite sport was basketball, but I think if you could be anything, you'd want to be a quarterback, just a star quarterback like Brady or Mahomes. I think that would be the coolest position to play.
Good. Cool. Awesome. That's Sean Nealis. Thank you so much for joining us on the 11.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
We're joined by New York Red Bulls forward Dante Venzer. As always, use the raise hand function. I'll call you, ask Dante a question. We'll start with questions in the room. First, we'll go to JJ.
Dante, you had probably one of the best games you've had so far as a New York Red Bull. What was that moment like, and with connecting with Lewis? And the second question is, are mom and grandma now season ticket holders?
Yeah, first of all, it was an amazing game indeed. Probably my most impactful game with the Red Bulls. But yeah, the team looked great. I felt good with Lewis up top as well. It was for me also a new combination, let's say, new connection. But yeah, I'm glad we could take the win. And also for Lewis, last year was a difficult year for me as well. So it's nice to give something back to the team and to the fans like this. And unfortunately, my family doesn't have any season tickets. I don't know, Zach. Maybe we have to arrange something, but no, it was nice for them as well to be here. My parents are coming back in 2 weeks, so yeah, hopefully will have another nice impact for the game.
Next, go to Mark.
This video that has gone completely viral of you before the game giving your coat to the young mascot in front. Can you talk about, does that mean anything to you that this video has gone around the world and picked up in all major markets and kind of highlighting your moment of kindness? What does that mean for you?
Yeah, it's of course for me during the game, let's say, I wasn't really thinking too much about that. I was just trying to be kind. I felt like these guys were cold, and I wanted to give them like something against the rain. But yeah, after seeing the video back, it sends out a nice message to the world as well. If you start with kindness, some like the team, they will follow, and it's a nice. I think it's a nice gesture from the team, a nice a nice, how do you call it, message for the world that kindness is important for humanity. And I think it's also a little bit my nature. Not a lot of people know how I really am, I think, and this shows a little bit of my how I am as a person, and of course also thanks to my parents for raising me like that. So I'm very grateful for being raised like that.
Keaton, obviously you missed the last game with the red card. What did you do in that time frame just to stay positive and to be able to, knowing you were going to help the team this week against Miami?
Yeah, just normal stuff. I was working hard all week, did extra training, worked after practice knowing I didn't have a game on the weekend, had my own training on Saturday alone out here with Jake, full field, everything. So, I was working, just trying to better myself and get ready for this next weekend.
Was it frustrating? Obviously, it's frustrating not being able to be on the field. But what did you see in that game that your team did so well that you think they weren't rewarded for?
Yeah, I was happy with the game, honestly. It's a tough team, tough place to go and get a result in. It was unfortunate to not get a result, but I think the team played well for the person that we had. We missed a lot of players in the national team, and then, of course, my mistake. But I think we just need to execute in the final third more. And take more risk and really go for more goals. Obviously, that's what wins games.
Yeah, you called it your mistake, but again, it seems sometimes that you guys have been kind of on the wrong end of a little bit of bad luck. Is that what you felt in that second yellow? Did you feel like no, it was really kind of something I did?
Both. I think it could have gone either way. I had no intent. I was just trying to win the ball, and I caught the guy. So. I don't want to say we're on the wrong end of bad luck. Like it does feel like there's a streak, but it's something that we need to fight our way out of and deserve and earn our points.
Yeah, you've been with this team through a lot. You've seen the evolution happen, kind of in the middle of a new version of that. How do you feel like the team is coming along, and do you see the light at the end of the tunnel?
Absolutely. There's always a light. Just knowing these guys, being in the locker room every day, we're all fighting for something. We all have the same goals and ambitions, and we're fighting for this club to move forward, get points, and move up the table.
So lastly, I have to ask you, Miami is coming up. Probably no Lionel Messi, but still a team that is looking to rebound after a bad result on their own. What are you doing differently to make sure that you keep them in check?
Same stuff. Going over film, training hard out here, working on tactics. But we're going out there for a win. We're not going to get a tie. We're not going for an away result. We're going to win every game. And with or without Messi, they have a top team, a strong attack. So we're going to be working on that, focusing on that. But we got to finish some goals.
Cool. Thanks so much.
Good afternoon and welcome to New York Red Bulls media availability to preview the New York Red Bulls match against Orlando City SC on Saturday. We're joined by New York Red Bulls head coach Sandro Schwartz. As always, use the raise hand function or in the room, raise your hand and I'll call on you to ask coach a question. First thing I saw was Mark. Mark, you have the floor.
Coach, great to see Serge Goma get some minutes in the dying moments of the win against Miami. Is this the healthiest the team has been since you've been here? Because it seems, barring news from you, that everyone is pretty much in a good place.
Yeah, it's important also that Serge got the first minutes now last week in this game, and also he continued this week in the training session, the process. The whole team is in a good spot. We have to be careful with Emil Forsberg. He has some problems a little bit with the hamstring, but we have to check this tomorrow in our last team training. But the whole team is in a good spot. Also the atmosphere is good, and the behavior after this Miami game was also very good. The performance in the training session. This is what we need then also for tomorrow.
Next, we got Anthony.
Coach, Orlando has started the season off a bit rough. Your team pretty much the exact opposite at this point. How do you manage a team that you know was expected to be better, and how do you manage playing against a team like that?
Yeah, we analyzed the last games of Orlando, then the games last week, the home game against Austin, they won 2-0. The structure of Orlando and just a little bit different in defense and offense. And offense is more the back four, like 4-4-2 most of the time, sometimes 4-2-3-1. And in their offense behavior is they build up with 3 players in their first line, and sometimes 1-2-6 position. This is what we analyzed the training here in the video room, and then also to prepare in our training session. This is what we need for Saturday. But don't forget our performance, our strength, our principles, which we need for this game, and this is the main part of the whole week.
Thanks for the way.
Coach, last week we asked a lot about how you were going to juggle the lineup. You obviously did a great job and everybody performed great last week. How do you go adjusting to what we did from last week going into this week with everybody coming back or somewhat coming back?
Yeah, that's great. It's great for me as a head coach to take these decisions. Then we need also this competition in our roster, each position to have these competitions, and you see this also in the training session. This is what we need. It's a very long season, and I said this immediately after the game. We need every player in this roster, every young player also, not only with some experienced player, every player we need, and to get these minutes. And we have to take this decision now for Saturday against Orlando, but I like that. I like to have these decisions then, and then that means the quality is high, the performance in the last game was good, and also the training session. And this is my job then also to take these decisions for the starting lineup for the roster.
Next, we go to Gustavo on Zoom.
Coach, good afternoon. It's a pleasure to talk to you once again. Now that you're coming off a 4-0 win over Inter Miami, I want to ask you, what can you do to control the emotions regarding your players to face Orlando City, a different team in a different stadium? How to control them in order to keep them, focused in that specific match?
To be honest, we don't want to control the emotions, so we need our emotions, but in the right way. This is for us necessary, and what we need in the game. So we are looking for our behavior, what we need, for our skills, what we need against Orlando, and we need emotions. You can't be successful without emotions in the game. So this is what we need, but to control in the right way, to be aggressive, but not stupid fouls or to talk too much with the opponents or with the referee. This is what we don't need. So we need our energy, our emotions, and yeah, this was also very good in the last game and the previous games as well. So this is our target for Saturday.
Next, we go to Gary on Zoom.
Coach, you said you looked over some film with Orlando. What did you see? I'm just curious to find out, what did you see about Orlando that could cause some problems with your team, if any?
Yeah. What I mentioned in that build-up situation, most of the time with 3 players, a lot of crosses. Is one of the team with the most crosses situation, and also with a lot of touches in the opposition, in the opponent's box. That means for us to defend very strong with our fullbacks. To defend, first of all, to defend the crosses. Then in our box to defend against their strikers, 10 position, depends on their structure. That will be very important for us. And but also then to use our moments with the ball in transitions, and this is what we need, and also to show our quality. But this is a very good team, and they won last week against Austin, and they had also some good games at the beginning of the season, but didn't get the results. So we have to be careful of that, but to have our attention to our principles.
Next, we go to Daniel Ferenstein on Zoom.
Good afternoon, Sandro. Hope you're well. How proud are you of Lewis Morgan? Obviously, came back from such a bad injury all year long, missing the entire year last year. How happy are you? I know it's early still, but he seems to really be on his best performance so far to start the season.
Yeah, but I hope it's not the best performance now in the season, because we have some games more. So we need him for long term in the whole season, and yeah, he's in a good spot. I'm very happy, and I'm proud also about his character, that he's very helpful for the teammates. And I'm satisfied with his performance on the field, off the field, in the locker room. And this is what we need with experienced players to help, especially our young guys. And yeah, he made a great job against Miami. So, but this is also then our line, what we have to continue in. Not that we show only 1 time or 2 times this performance. This is we need this week by week for our development.
Next, go to Christian Ortiz on Zoom.
Hi, good afternoon, Coach. Just wanted to ask you on one of the captains of our team, Emil Forsberg. Just what can you tell us about the mental and emotional state of the player right now?
He came back from the national team. Everything is, and we spoke, and everything is clear. So let's talk about his sports, about his skills, what's on the field. But he's in a good spot, so everything is okay.
Don't see any more hands on Zoom, any more in person. Or
Coach, last week we had a great outcome. Did you see anything that you would have changed? Every game, I feel like even good or bad, you always see something that you maybe didn't like. Did you see anything last week that you didn't like?
For sure. Yeah, for sure. But I don't want to say I didn't like. So, but you see in every game what you can improve, and it's not only that we analyze then, okay, because the result is 4-0, and now we said to the whole team, okay, everything was good and perfect. No, we said to the guys what was good, and that is also then the result of our performance. But then we show also some sequence what we can improve, and especially in the Miami game, we had some moments in 3 against 2, 4 against 3 transition situations in the first half and the second half. I think the last pass could be better in some situations, and then we can create more chances, especially in the transition moments in the first half. So, but it was good. Result was top, atmosphere was top, weather was not good. So, but we were very satisfied last Saturday.
We have time for 2 more questions with Coach. First, go to Anthony.
Coach, you spoke about Emil Forsberg's status, but also John Tolkien and Danny Edelman came back from international duty. Is everything good with them on the field and training?
Yeah, the only thing what I said is we have to check tomorrow Emil, if he's able to play. But so all of these guys were in a good mood also to come back here in our facility. Jamai was good today in the training session. Danny Edelman is out for the game on Saturday because of his card in Columbus, red card, and so we will check this tomorrow in the last training session, and then we will decide then our starting lineup for against the London.
I don't see any more hands. We have time for one more question if anybody has any. Mark?
Yeah, can you just talk a little more about Dante and the evolution of his game since you've seen him here setting a team mark with 4 assists in 1 match? He and Lewis have created a wonderful relationship on the field.
The best moment of Dante from the Saturday game was before the game. The video with the kids, this was amazing, and I said this also to the team on Tuesday, and when I saw this first time, this video was amazing, and when you see Dante in this video, in this reaction, and it was also last year very difficult for him, and then you have this moment, and I'm very happy about this first of all, that he shows his great character also in this moment, and the whole team, this was top with the kids to help them. This was amazing, very emotional also for me, and the performance was good, very active with whole energy, with good steps, especially in the defense behavior, good defending with Lewis Morgan to find good moments, and also 4 assists is top, is now the history for the club. Was great, good connection, very close together when we have the ball. This is very important for us, and not to stay too wide, and it was good, and could be then also the option that they start together on Saturday.
Coach, thank you for joining us. We appreciate.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's press conference. Ahead of match day 7 this weekend against Inter Miami in South Florida, we have head coach Nick Cushing here with us. If you have any questions, please raise your hand. We'll start with questions in the room.
Coach, last week I thought you guys had somewhat of a promising game, not the outcome that you wanted, but you guys are going into Miami against a team that got smacked around pretty bad, so they're obviously going to come out very tough for you. What's the mentality you're trying to bring in with your guys down to South Beach?
A mentality of embrace the challenge. I think we've had that every week, though. I think I've never questioned the mentality of the group. I think in every away game we've gone with a mentality of really attacking the game. And we were pleased with elements, and I've said this before, but we were pleased with elements of the Cincinnati game. I said after on my press, it was night and day from going there last year. It's a difficult place. And we've had some positive performances in Miami as well, whether it be Noche d'Or or the draw that we feel we should have won. So really difficult place. A team obviously that's stacked with quality, but the mentality in training this week has been really positive. Obviously frustrated, huge drive, but I think elements of the performance that we've worked on, but just a huge desire to execute a result really.
Coach, you obviously, MLS can be a forgiving league, especially early on in the campaign, but you also don't want to dig too big of a hole for yourself early. Is this an essential game where this team has to be able to get some points from it?
I think we felt like that in the Cincinnati game. I think every time we go on the road, because of our away record, it's a huge desire and a huge focus is to execute a result, because we know our away record is one where it is, but also we want to solidify league position. We want a strong home record, and we want a better away record. So every time we don't get the result, the desire and the hunger just builds, and I see that in the players. And we've said this week, tactically and physically, those are huge elements of football, but executing results is one thing that we have a huge frustration with, but a huge desire to improve and to execute.
Roberto?
There was a lot of players absent today via injury and also via national team call-ups. Can you tell us who's going to be available and what the situation is with Berg Risa, and also the reports about Christian McFarland possibly being sold to Manchester City? If you can update us on those.
A lot of questions, huh?
Yeah.
First, let me pick them apart. So first one, players that are available. So we don't have all of our players back from international duty, but we don't have any negative or any reports that there's been anything picked up on international duty. Obviously, Jovan and Munsef, we're still waiting on full reports. We're still waiting on them to return, but I got a chance to watch a lot of our players. I got reports on Christian McFarland, who's with England. I watched Munsef, I watched Jovan. Micha is back with us. So out of all those players, we're still waiting on some, but I expect them all to be available. Tavon returned and trained. Kevin O'Toole is still in concussion protocol, so he's working through that. We're hoping that will be positive, and he hasn't failed one of the steps yet, but there's still many steps to go. So, and we'll also work with the doctors and to see whether it is the right decision to put him in a game. Hasn't trained this week. Berg Risa hasn't trained because you see he came off in the game. He's getting pain in his lower leg. It's a foot injury that he's getting pain in. We don't feel like it's a major injury, but it is pain dependent. It's nothing that requires any treatment, surgery or anything. So it's not severe, but it's pain dependent, and you can see he can't finish the game against Cincinnati. So we're going through that process of whether he is managed through a pain tolerance program or whether he needs to be offloaded to really, to reduce the amount. It's really simple. Do we play him 55, 60, 75, 80 minutes and push him to what he can do? Or do we offload him so that we can get him fully? And we're working through that. We're in that process with no final decision on it. But he didn't train today, so that's not positive. Christian McFarland, that's new to me. So he is returning from England duty and will be in the squad for Miami. And with Kevin O'Toole, potentially it's a huge opportunity for him. But we'll work through that. It's really difficult to say whether a guy is going to start a game or play parts in the game when he is 3,000 miles away playing for his country. So when he comes back, we'll see what condition he's in, what mentality he's in, and we'll work through. But he's a really valuable member of our squad, and without him we only have one left back. So in my opinion, he's going nowhere.
Thank you.
Mohammed with the Exchange. So 2 questions. We saw Tallis back today in training a little bit. What's his status? And then also, you mentioned about the international breaks. Have you watched any of the games, and what's your thoughts on the players that were called up and played there?
Yeah, so Tallis was out on the grass, which is hugely positive. He wasn't with the team though, so I think that's going to be one that is ongoing. It's the same. You can see out there he's on the ball, he's running, but he's not fit to go in the squad yet. He's still working through that. So I leave him with the medical guys. He's in good spirits, but we just need to work through his process. He won't be available. I watch all the players because I fully support them on international duty. And their success is our success. Our culture here is built on trying to build a group that has clear goals and clear success, and through that you will get your individual success. And I think Munsef is a good example of that. I watched his game, came in yesterday on 30 minutes, good assist, but he should score. And I think he'll know that that'll be the first thing that I will say to him. But I think it's, the fact that he's coming into those goal chances at that level is a huge positive for him, and one that he should really embrace as a real positive and use it as fuel to continue working. Jovan played the first game, missed the second game, and then played the next one. For Jovan we want to get him in the number 9 and get him scoring goals. And I haven't spoken to him, so I will see what his mentality is like coming back and his how he feels after international. Great for Micha because they got positive results. So I think for Micha, it's he has a huge desire to succeed with his national team with the 21s. And I think I was speaking to him before. I think some of the results went for them. An Austrian draw went for them as well, so it puts them in a really good spot. Christian was pleased with the first game. I had a report on him yesterday. They had a really difficult game against France, which I think is a really good exercise for Christian to play in a game of that level, and one that we'll go through the clips with him and we'll support him on it. Thomas Romero didn't play in the first game, and I will go through it with him to see how that worked for him. Tavon, obviously, we watched. He came on in the USA game, and then he came on in the second game. I support all the guys on international duty. I think it's been positive for them. Of course, I would rather have them in a game, that we play in. But when they go away on international duty, it's a huge positive for us that they get that recognition.
And we're back here post game. Unfortunately, JJ and I are not in the same place because neither team was home. And also, JJ decided he wanted to be a good soccer kid, and we'll be covering some games in DC this weekend for the NWSL. JJ, we had 2 games yesterday. We obviously did the pod talking a bit about NYCFC, so maybe we start with Red Bull for a change. 1-1 draw at in Orlando. I think, is it still, what's the name of their stadium now? Is it still Camping World?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, anyway.
Next week it'll be something else.
Yeah, the offense kind of sputtered, I thought, despite the fact that it was very similar. We saw Dante and Lewis Morgan together again. Still no Emil Forsberg, so he's still recovering from that slight, I don't even want to call it a knock, but just recovering from the international duties, may have hurt his hamstring just slightly. What are your overall thoughts on this game?
It was a decent game. Obviously, they wasted 2 points there at the end. I can't really fault Noah too much for it. It hit his back leg and just took a bad bounce. Duncan did play better defensively, which is a positive. But that offense that we saw against Inter Miami just disappeared. And there was really no reason for why it disappeared. Orlando defensively wasn't that great. Red Bull just didn't complete all their chances.
Yeah, and we go back to this discussion we've had about this team for so long. They don't have a number 9, a real number 9. They have a guy wearing the number 9 shirt, but that guy is a winger. And as many goals he's going to give you, you still want that out-and-out striker. And Dante Van Zier is coming across more like a 10 these days than a 9, which again is fine. He's distributing the ball. I thought his passes were very solid. Again, they did create stuff. They just don't have that person. And we know that for a fact because when they brought on one of the other guys, Elias Manuel, to try and close this game out, he couldn't do it, even though he had an opportunity to do that. So again, it's the same old broken record, right? We know they need a workable number 9 that can come and put these chances away. This is talk about broken records. We're going to talk about this with the blue team as well. But at least with Red Bull, you're seeing these one-on-ones, and you're just thinking to yourself, man, somebody capable has got to be in that spot to put those away.
Yeah, just like we said, the Tom Barlow experiment's over, so is the Elias Manol experiment. The kid just cannot be consistent. He couldn't be consistent before he got here. Coming here didn't make him consistent. Time for him to go.
Yeah, or at the very least, emergency stuff. I don't know. It could go. We'll see how that goes. The Red Bull side, though, of it, again, can't knock it too much because they did get another point on the road. An Orlando team that was very susceptible. They gave up that late goal. Lewis Morgan scoring the penalty kick in that game. So all positives. They're only 1 point out of first place. So fine. They get ready now to travel to Cincinnati, and we'll preview that later in the week. That's going to be a tough one for them out there. Switching gears a little bit to the blue side, NYCFC also had a 1-1 draw in Miami. I didn't even realize it in my head, but both teams made trips to Florida. This was a different game. I am not so positive on this one. I thought both teams played pretty poor. NYCFC more so in the second half. I thought Inter Miami were really bad in the first half, despite getting the goal early off of a set piece. Luis Suarez scoring. Yeah, what were your thoughts on that one?
Definitely a performance that Nick Cushing would like to throw out the window. Santi's got to be better. Martinez has got to be better. I get that they're banged up top with Magno out. Morales is out still, but this isn't new for this team. Both those players were out for stretches last year too. Their strikers right now all fit in the Elias Manol category and Tom Barlow category. They're there. They get their shots, but they're not capitalizing. And unfortunately, when you are the striker, you've got one job: the ball in the back of the net. And it's okay, a game here, a game there, but this is game in, game out with the strikers. I can't recall the last time one of their strikers in a regular season match put the ball in the back of the net. It's been that long. Keaton Parks came back. You would not have known it. On the defensive side, while he was strong, Sands was making careless mistakes for some reason. They were bending a lot more than they should have against Miami. They should have been bringing the game to Miami. Instead, at points, they let Miami bring it to them. Heck, in the first, I'd say 10 minutes, New York had 4 golden opportunities from 18 yards in and couldn't capitalize once. And then Suarez kind of gets that little, almost a tap in to take the lead. And, that was the difference all the way up until the 90th plus minute or so, when New York finally got that equalizer. Santi had 2 shots in the extra minutes to give them the win. They didn't. Martinez had, I think, 1, maybe 2 as well. Didn't. At this point, something roster-wise has to change. Whether it's bringing somebody up from the 2s, I don't know, but they got to figure out their striker problem.
Yeah, and their striker problem is one that is more concerning than the Red Bull one, because Red Bull can go out and spend some money. The issue is that NYCFC, the thought was they did go out and spend that money, right? Julian Fernandez, I believe, was a $5 million transfer fee. And then you've got Alonso Martinez. I always call him Alfonso. Alonso Martinez, another one that was almost $1 million. This team has spent money. So the fact that these guys, there aren't names that you'd recognize, but they have spent money. So the fact that they're not working out, it makes me worry a bit about Nick Cushing's status, because when you spend that kind of money on players, you tend to be the first one to go before the player does. And so we'll see if I hope it's not the case, because I say this all the time. I don't like managers getting fired unless there is a plan in place stylistically to make a difference. I don't like firing managers that get fired just for the sake of firing, right? And that tends to happen a lot across the board in all soccer leagues. But the money has been spent. It just either they have to acknowledge internally and externally to media or fans alike that it's not working. It was bad moves. But at the other side of it, you look at Julian Fernandez as well. 5 total starts. At what point do you just need to put the kid out there and see if he can do it as a starter? Same thing with Martinez. I know he did get the start yesterday. I think it was only his 3rd start ever.
Yeah.
No, it was his first ever start. So, if you're going to fail, why not go out in a blaze of glory, right? Put him out there.
Yeah, I get the fans' frustrations, and it's easy to pick on Nick. But honestly, this team is fighting. His X's and O's are working. The problem is they're not finishing off the chances that are created. It's not like he's getting outplayed. It's not like his strategies are getting them pinned in for 90 minutes. Majority of these games they should have won if they just finished their chances. Like I said last night, if you're going to fire somebody, it really should be David Lee. He was the one who scouted the players. He's the one who said these are the guys that are going to get us to scoring. So obviously, either his scouting was really, really, really bad, or there's some kind of mental problem going on with their strikers and they need to figure it out fast. I'm leaning more towards there was a scouting error. Like I would rather see David Lee go before Nick Cushing, because like I said, Nick's putting them in the same spot. So, okay, fans, you get rid of Nick Cushing. The next coach comes in, gets them in their spots, and they're still not scoring. Now what? You want to fire the coach again? A day in, 2 days in, a week in, 2 weeks in? It's really not an X's and O problem. It's not a not listening in the locker room problem. It is 100% a striker problem, and that's on David Lee, who brought in these strikers. It's not on anybody else. This isn't youth soccer where Nick needs to go teach them how to kick a soccer ball. Like, these are pro athletes that have been kicking the ball around for a while. They should know how to put it in the back of the net, and they're not.
Yeah, and so that leaves NYCFC in a really tough position. They are 1 point out of last place. New England is below them. Their opponents have not played yet. Atlanta United, at least at the time of this recording, they will be playing on Sunday at 3:45 against the Chicago Fire. They're a streaky team right now. Only 4 games played, 2 wins, sandwiched between 2 losses last week against Toronto, and now they'll be playing Chicago. So that'll be hard to see. Look, they're coming to Citi Field. You have to think NYCFC needs to get this. We'll preview that later. But yeah, so that's the recap here of NYCFC and New York Red Bulls. JJ, anything before we step away?
No, I think we covered everything, and I will be in touch after the Spirit match.
Yeah, thanks so much, and see you guys after that match.